Yeah, I started recording now. Okay. So what I'm saying is, so the psychometric analysis has to be done in such a way that we are able to understand the person. Now, understanding the person, I can give a report. There are so many reports available today, even online, but there is no point having a report which has got many pages and many paragraphs, but we are not able to make too much of sense about it because a human being is uniquely, it's million shades of gray. You cannot, we believe that you cannot put a human being into a box. So we have not gone by some kind of a saying that he is a type A or a type this so and so type or a disk analysis, or we have not done that. What we have done is we have used a very unique tool in which there are bipolarities, and even in a bipolarity, a person could have both those traits. Now that means there are million shades of gray. So how do you make sense out of it? For that, we have created a method for that whole thing. We have used the psychological world's method only, but we have kind of customized it for us to understand our report very easily. So when we do our trainings, we basically try to help you, make sense out of the report in such a way that we are able to nicely connect the person to the world of work and to direction in life which they can take. So we'll be talking about that here. Towards this, I would request that let us keep it interactive so that the learning improves as we interact on this particular topic. So the technology that we are planning to transfer to you to understand this whole psychometric report goes like this. So we have basically a model in which we have two dimensions. Okay. And these dimensions are very simple. So on one dimension, you have the introverted extroverted scale. And on the other dimension, you have the active passive scale. Now, what does what is the actual meaning of this? It's like this. Active passive is the way one interacts with the world. So either a person is taking a very positive action to make change. Okay, so you'll see somebody who takes initiative and wants to make a change, and it goes is always in the forthcoming and always going in front and doing it. And on the other hand, somebody is like easygoing and says, let things happen when they happen, and I will handle it when it comes. So both, there are two ends of the spectrum, and there could be people in the in between also. So it's again, it's like a temperature of water. So as you go higher and higher, it's hotter and hotter, and as you go lower and lower, it is colder and colder. So understand it very qualitatively. But then people could be anywhere in the spectrum from say active to passive. So this is like even in the Darwin's theory, there is something called the animal and plant tendency. So the animal tendency is to rush and make the change. The plant tendency is more passive, is rooted and is like, only moving to the extent required to take the raw materials for its production of food and all that. So whereas the animal would go and run and take the change. So that's a analogous theory that we could use to understand this active passive. So this is one dimension. The other dimension is introverted extroverted. There could be different understandings of this, but the understanding that we take is, okay, try to understand the psychology of a person, where you would say, somebody would say that, okay, if I am working in a particular environment, I feel that the people out here are not someone that I can, easily gel with, or I would not trust these people too much. Okay, they would consider it more hostile, which is where the introverted nature becomes very powerful because they believe in working on their own, and that's where the root comes from. And the extroverted person is say that they are all friendly to me, and I can just go and work with them. So these are two spectrums. Now, if you notice, what we have created out here is four quadrants, right? So these quadrants become our core to understand a person. So now I'll open the house to understand each quadrant. So we'll take quadrant by quadrant. Now before I start, I'll make a disclaimer. It is impossible for any person to only fit into one quadrant. Right? Because we have different characteristics, and these characteristics could be combined. I could have characteristics of all the four quadrants also, but there would be a predominance of one quadrant and maybe a secondary predominance of a second quadrant also. So I could possibly take two quadrants as my primary and secondary, and I can make a picture about a person. So the whole exercise is about trying to visualize the personality or the behavior of a person by putting them into respective quadrants using the factors that are coming out in our report. So what we have done is we have taken all those factors. Now there are 24 factors. There are, there is this intrinsic drivers, there is cognitive style, and there is behavior. Now, we are not getting into that detail too much, but we have already done that thing behind in the back end. But what we have done is we have created all these factors, we have put them into respective quadrants, and we have created a quadrant analysis tool which is already available. Now we know that these are the quadrants. Now that means every person would have a primary quadrant and a secondary quadrant. But if we want to understand the quadrants, we will have to assume that for the time being, I will just take one quadrant and I'll try and understand what this person's behavior is going to be like. Shall we do that? Just for an understanding. But be careful that it doesn't mean that anybody who's, is only going to fall into that quadrant. Your report would have something which will make you fall into more than one quadrant. But just to understand, we'll take some examples so that it becomes simpler for us. So I'm giving that caveat even before we start, so that we should not land up into a thinking that I must fall into one quadrant only. It is not possible. Human beings will not fall into one quadrant. We will have multiple quadrants in our report, but we will have to select the predominant quadrants. And any psychometric, our understanding with our work in the world, is only giving you a base or a framework. It is not going to give you everything to say that, okay, the report says this, so I will do this. So that's not the approach we take. The approach we take is the psychometric gives us a base. Once we have a base, we validate it with the person sitting across. And once that validation happens, and then we stay okay. Now, and what we have seen, even if there's not a one-on-one validation, we can create groups. We can make them sit in certain groups based on the quadrant analysis. And we have seen there's a huge amount of matching that happens in whatever work we have done. So it gets matched beautifully. So it's well correlated, well validated. So it just falls into place. As a, yes, I'm like this, I'm like this is how I am. So 80 to 90% matching is there, and which is good enough. 100% matching is impossible, but 80 to 90%, if we are able to get a matching and say, okay, all these things match with me, which is good enough for us. And we also make it very facilitator kind of a work where they pick up the keywords, pick up the traits from their report, and they themselves validate, saying that, oh, I have got all these properties in me, I have got all these qualities in me. So it is not something like giving you 100% saying that if I fall into this, it is impossible. Psychometric cannot do that. That's a point that we have to keep in mind. But yes, it gives us a start point to saying that, okay, I've understood about 70-80% about this person, but how do I use the tool and how do I facilitate the person to take the right decision is more important. So that is the whole idea. Okay, now let us start with the first quadrant. So if I look at a person who is active and a person who is introverted, means active means this person is a go-getter who would like to change things, who would want to take initiative, is very forthcoming in his approach. And on the other hand, when he is entering that world of work or environment, he believes that the people there are not very friendly. They're hostile in his mind. In his mind, he believes that they are hostile. What would be the behavior of such a person at a workplace?
Lone wolf.
Sorry?
Lone wolf.
Lone wolf.
Single operator.
Okay.
Go-getter, do everything, but he'll operate on its own.
Okay, but if you understand, this person is a very active person. Okay, now there are two approaches here. Now, if you understand the temperature of water, sir, okay, so if you take an active person who is a change maker, go-getter, means the temperature of water, will it be high or low? High. It is high, right? That means it's a very high temperature guy. It's very hot. He's full of action, very dynamism, right? And if you look at introverted, a person who is, doesn't believe in going and talking and meeting too many people, and he doesn't trust the people around. Is this hot or cold? It is cold. Now, if you keep hot and cold together, which becomes more predominant?
Hot, obviously.
Hot, obviously. If you keep ice and steam, the ice is going to melt, right? So what happens is, if you take an active and introverted together, obviously the active component is going to play huge predominance over the cold component, right? So while I agree that this person would have this tendency to be a lone wolf, but he would not be happy just being a lone wolf. He or she would want to drive things as per their desire without trust.
Without trust.
Without trust, because he doesn't trust them. Hostile environment. I don't trust these people. but I want the things done. I want the activity done. You understand the active part of it. The active part is very, very strong, and the introverted part is cold. So if you join these two together, you have a very, a hot combination of a person who is very hot. So what is active behavior? What will be
Will
the
want
things?
to be in charge, but drive people rather than carry them along.
Yes.
So he'll be
So
more
he'll
of
be a hard taskmaster.
Absolutely right. Now you got it. Now you got the concept. An active introverted person would be a kind of a very, you see these typical CEOs of companies who are, they're kick-ass masters. They'll just give orders, they'll shout. Dictatorial method, authoritarian leadership. So authoritarian leadership is what we find out here. A person who is an authoritarian leadership guy who's always pushing people, not bothered about processes, more about results, focused on the result than the process, ensuring that things are done his way or her way, whatever. I mean, I tell you do. I'm not going to discuss. I will rather tell you. So he's a dictatorial, very demanding, very pushy, aggressive. So so let us come up with some keywords or some traits which we can put it as. But then keep in mind that we are in the positive psychology mode. If you remember the last session, so we have to be careful in the words that we use for these people. So let us look at some keywords coming out from us, which we can use to define this person's nature. Imagine I'm talking to this person in front of me and I'm going to make this person feel good about himself or herself. So what are the keywords that I will use for this person?
Aggressive,
No.
assertive,
Sorry?
aggressive, assertive,
Aggressive. Okay. Now aggressive, many
assertive,
people, some people will take it negative also, but yes, aggressive is right from a business perspective.
assertive,
Assertive. Fantastic. Fantastic. Anything else?
result oriented, I would say.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Pratibha ma'am will give chance to others also.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Outcome driven.
Sorry?
Outcome driven.
Outcome driven. Fantastic. Superb. Superb, Atul sir. Anyone else? Are you understanding this concept? So we said there's a person who's very active but introverted. So in this quadrant, so what are the different keywords? Now we will look at the world of work and think that he's working in an office. So what are the different things that a person does in office? Okay, it's like he has to talk with people, he has to get results, he has to, what else? How will this person's behavior be? Of course, we have talked about leadership. So what style of leadership you think will be suitable here?
Authoritarian.
Authoritarian, right? So authoritarian leadership, dictatorial. So that is the style. Then what about the communication style? So how will he communicate with the people?
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom, absolutely. It's driven, it's that demanding, pushy. I'll just demand things and I want it my way or the highway, right? How will the person negotiate?
Not much of negotiation.
He dictates actually.
Dictates.
Sorry?
He will dictate.
He'll dictate.
He is
He'll
not
just
into a
drive the
negotiation.
negotiation to his own result. Doesn't care. Okay, how will this person say there is a failure or there is a problem occurring in the office and something crazy has happened, some crisis has happened? So how this person would react?
He'll
Withdraw
blame the
probably.
subordinates.
Sorry?
Withdraw probably. Withdraw.
He'll blame the subordinates.
Okay, now we have to be careful. We are going into the negative side. We should not go in the negative side. We have to be on the positive side. So imagine an active person seeing a crisis, and what is the general tendency of this person?
Blame game. Here it is reflection.
taking things in his own hands.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Because this person is not going to wait. He's not going to call for a meeting and discuss and say kya karna hai, kya nahi karna hai. This guy will say to hell with everybody. I will do what I have to do. He'll take the fire extinguisher and go and extinguish the fire himself or herself. And doesn't care about kya hoga. Result chahiye mere ko, bas. I'll just go and do it. They'll just jump into the fire, take the thing on their own hand and do it. So that's how they are good negotiators. They close deals. They get the results. They get sales. So these people are people who get results very fast, right? What else? What are the other things that come to your mind in work? So if you look at it, what are the different keywords? So I've just made a, look at all these keywords here. Dominating, powerful, challenger. They will venture into uncharted areas. They're authoritative. They're very critical. So they will look at people and they will just point out, and they're very blunt in pointing out people in front of everybody. They don't care. You may be a director in the company, but he will call you a fool in front of everyone. Blunt communicators. Why? Because they don't care. They are only looking at results. But because of that, they are good crisis managers. They are opinionated. They make the judgments very quickly. They are very restless, very dynamic, multitaskers, very quick in decision making, risk takers, independent, entrepreneurial, competitive. Now you look at all these words. Now, if I'm talking to somebody and I make this person believe that he's got all these qualities, would not this person feel good about himself or herself? We know the negative points. We know what these problems can happen, but we have to be very careful here because we are in the positive mode. Remember that the slide last time we shown. We are not getting into the areas of improvement or negative side. We are only looking at a positive side because ultimately this positive side is going to connect to aspirations, what they're going to do in this world, because the idea is to drive them to achieve something great in this world. So next will be how do you connect it to the real world and make them aspire to be someone great there. So that is the ultimate objective. So that is why we have created this. Now, if we look at these keywords, can we look at some examples of real life people who probably fall into this category? Who can be given as examples or inspiration for the youth?
Probably the Prime Minister.
Prime Minister, absolutely.
Yeah, same.
So see, I've put some pictures out here. Okay, Narayan Murthy. Now look at them. Do you see something common in them? We have Steve Jobs, we have Dhoni, we have Dipinder Goyal, we have Ritesh Agarwal, Oyo, we have Narayan Murthy.
But I don't
Do you agree?
agree with Dhoni.
Dhoni doesn't seem to be in this bracket.
So understand this. You should never read a book by the cover, they say, na? Dhoni looks very cool, but he's a cool captain, but then he's a captain. His decisions are, extremely aggressive. When he takes decisions, you cannot challenge those decisions. So there are people like this may look, I had a boss who looks very cheerful, very nice. But when he enters the office, he's a terror. Absolute terror. And, people hide. So these people are, if you look at Narayan Murthy, for example, Narayan Murthy, very simple guy, very simple man. But in office, he's a terror.
But I guess
results.
more than Dhoni, Saurav Ganguly was.
Yeah,
Saurav
you're right.
Ganguly fits.
Agreed. Saurabh Ganguly also falls in the same category. Yeah, you're right. Dhoni is more cool compared to Saurabh Ganguly. Saurabh Ganguly is, yeah, you're right. Perfect. Basic idea was to get an understanding. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to visualize the quadrant. Okay. So once we visualize the quadrant and we know this quadrant is there, so we have some idea. Okay, this person probably falls in this category. That's about it. Right? So it's a picturization game. So we are playing. So we are entering into a qualitative world. So there's not too much of quantitative out here. Okay, because we have a lot of people like me who have done engineering, and also we think very in quantitative terms. But then here psychology and all is more qualitative. So we are looking at temperature of water and then trying to understand and then trying to put factors together and get those keywords. These keywords is the game killer because this is what changes the whole understanding about a person. When the keywords are there in your hand, these words make a very big impression on a person's mind. So we have done the first quadrant. Any questions here? Any comments here? Is this clear to everyone? Okay.
Yes.
Now let's move to the next quadrant. Okay. So this quadrant, what are the different career options that are available for them? Any ideas? If you want to connect them to careers, what kind of career roles or families that you would put them into?
Managerial.
Manager.
Okay. So like you had said, we are talking of result orientation, outcome orientation. So
Research,
wherever
Troubleshooters.
Maybe
research,
research,
firefighting.
Troubleshooter.
military leaders also.
yes. So basically anything which has got to do with result orientation, where immediate results means in terms of world of work, it's primarily business development, sales, marketing, okay, program management, construction management, where you have to be very aggressive, where you have to ensure that you're, it's like hard to get the result, but you are very aggressive and you can push and get the result. Those are the areas where these people do very well. So basically we say there's outcome oriented work, investigative work. Okay, so something which is unconventional. So they are very unconventional. They are not conventional people. They will think differently. They will come up with different ideas, abstract in their thinking, and they'll challenge the world. They will disrupt the existing environment. So these are those people who, they get into those roles. They're disruptors. They are not conventional. Their ideas will be very disruptive. So that is where you can fit these kind of people in this, if they are high in this particular quadrant. And you're right, military leaders, okay, because people who have to take decisions in crisis in the front, they require people like this. In terms of crisis, in terms of a war, in terms of an emergency. So those are the people who will fit into these roles. Now we look at the next quadrant. Now we have this person who is active and trusts everybody, extroverted person, just goes around, and so it's high on both. It's hot on the both the sides, hot here also and extroverted there also. So what are the what kind of behavior do you expect from such a person?
They are leaders,
Okay, so leaders again. Now, when we talk about leaders,
team builders.
even that person was a leader, authoritative leader. Remember, leadership was there
Here,
also.
they
So
can
He
leadership has
goes
got
with the
different
team
styles.
actually.
Yeah.
He's a democratic leader.
Do you think he will be a democratic? Yeah, possible. Yes,
They
you're
could
right.
be impulsive,
Yes. Why do you say that, ma'am?
people
Why do you
pleaser,
say?
I would say. People
Yes.
pleaser.
Yes. Now we are going negative. Can we make it into positive?
Yeah, so they could probably fit into a role where you have, social engagement and, visibility. So you're active plus you're extroverted. So you connect very well with people.
Fantastic. So that's
He's
the
a
first understanding. Means
good
connecting very well with people.
communicator.
Sorry.
He is a good communicator. He could be in
Fantastic.
entertainment.
Fantastic, sir. You got it. Good communication. Communication is the biggest strength this person has. Perfect. Perfect analysis. Communication is the biggest strength that this person has. Now, with communication, what are the other things that come into mind?
He's clear-headed.
Okay. Clear-headed in the
He
sense.
may not
sir,
be clear-headed, but he has the ability to carry people along.
So, there is this, you see in offices, we see in many of our offices, even in the armed forces, we see some people who are very good at making friends. They will not talk about work when they come and meet you. They will first talk about your family. They will say, क्या है, भाभी कैसी है, खाना वाना अच्छा है, क्या climate कैसा है आपका, क्या चल रहा है, and they will just drive you deep into discussions, and they will not talk about work at all. But at the end of the day, they will get all the work done. So they are the very good at connecting, making relationships, and ensuring that they are able to get what they want just by cajoling, talking, building relationships. So they are good relationship builders. They are good, human connectors. They are engagers. They'll entertain audiences. They can entertain audiences very well. They can just talk to people on the go. They love talking to people. They love being in the center of attraction of a party. You'll see people like this. You can connect to people who are, any party you go, they will be talking and people will be listening to them. They are not the listeners, they are the talkers. They will just talk. So communication leads to that kind of they need that recognition. They are recognition driven. For them, recognition is important. Results are important, but with recognition. So I want results, but I want fame more than results. Fame is also very important for me. So I want to be known by the whole world. The whole world should know me. And I should know the whole who's. These people make connections at the highest level. So you will find them. So here is where even people like Narendra Modi would fall in here more than there. Because they are very good at communication. They're very good at oration. They can connect with people and they are connected to the who's who and everybody knows them also. Famous people. Make sense? So what are the keywords, good keywords that we can use for them?
Charismatic.
Leader.
Fantastic. Charismatic. What else?
Team player.
Collaborative. Energetic.
Energetic. Fantastic. Charismatic, energetic, influencer, persuasive,
Action driven.
action driven,
No,
right? So you look at this. Look at these. Now these people, actually what Pranav Shah sir said was right. They don't like to get into analytics. Now imagine you give this person to read a report and to make a detailed report and all. They hate it. They don't like doing all that. They want action. They want to be with people. They want to be outside. They want to be doing stuff where they're connecting, making relationships, influencing, persuading. They're not too interested in sitting down and writing reports and telling them processes and details. They're not interested in that. And you'll find people, all offices, you will be able to correlate to these people. And it's not that they will be, see, we can connect them to roles, but no role is 100% only people oriented. Every role will require some amount of detail orientation, some amount of writing. But the point is that core component of that work they do should be people oriented. Secondary, tertiary jobs could be making some report and all that. It is okay. But if the main work is to make research reports, you are screwed with such a person in your office. So that is where the alignment is important. So once we understand that this is the primary category of this person, so we kind of understand what is the nature of that person. Now we are visualizing this person. He is always cheerful, always meeting people, center of attraction, very friendly, very confident. He connects with people very well. He's a good influencer, good motivator, natural salesman, a good networker. Okay. He is more casual in his approach. He'll not come and start talking about work to you straight away. So first there'll be 15 minutes of general chat happening. He'll build relationship with you. He'll make you feel very comfortable. And then without you realizing, some work will get done. So you'll not even think before putting a signature on his paper. That kind of strength he possesses or she possesses. So that's the beauty of these people. Right. So what are the examples? Any examples about anyone you know in this domain?
Journalist.
Sorry?
Journalist.
Journalists, broadcast journalists, right?
Event managers.
Event managers, I will not agree here. Event manager will fit into the previous quadrant better. Because if you look at an event manager, the master of ceremony who is standing on the stage is the person who would fit here.
Politicians.
But the event manager requires to be result driven. Because that person is working the whole night, coordinating, communicating, ensuring there is crisis happening, chaos happening, and managing all the chaos. So AI will be better for an event manager.
Politicians.
Yes, perfect, sir. Perfect. Politicians will fit in here. So you look at it. Who are the, sorry. So even teachers, actually it's a misunderstanding. When we talk to teachers, people think teachers are very serious people who are subject matter experts. But actually teaching is a people-oriented role. Teaching is existing only because students are there. A teacher's job is to engage with the classroom, with the students and audience. So if an audience facing role is there, these are the people who fit in. Any audience facing role, these people will fit in very well. Right? Okay, 1 minute. Why am I not able to see that? Yeah, so I had put the Sanjeev Kapoor and Shah Rukh Khan here. You must be knowing Sanjeev Kapoor, right? Khana Khazana fame. So while he's a chef, but he's a complete camera facing person. So these are typical people who are entertainers, camera facing, facing the audience. So anything which is audience based, these people would do very well. So trainers, teachers, motivational speakers, PR, front office workers, radio jockeys, master of ceremonies, anchors, actors, stand-up comedians, they all fit into this place. Right? And you could have combinations. We can have combinations of AI and AE, AE and AI. So we can have those combinations. So keep that in mind. So nobody is going to fit into one quadrant. I'm again repeating because slowly we are diving deep and then we'll realize that ye to idhar bhi hai, udhar bhi hai. So we'll have to keep this in mind when we are discussing, because while we have given some examples here, but these examples may not be 100% this. It could have a mix also. But just for a better understanding, we have taken some examples so that we get an understanding about the whole technology, what we are talking about. right? Now let's look at this one. Now this is interesting. Introverted, which is cold, which is cool as from the water scale, and passive, which is also cool. That means I don't trust anybody, and I'm also a person who likes to take it easy, and I'll be more passive, and I'll do things when it is required to be done. So what kind of behavior do you expect here at work? I'll warn you, be positive.
Mhm.
You have to unmute yourself when you speak. You're muted. Yeah.
Maybe analytical
Intent
skills,
research.
something you can do.
Fantastic, sir. Atul sir, very good. Analytical. Yes, you're very right. Perfect analysis.
He'll be a grounded person. Won't
Grounded person. Very good. Excellent.
Good listener.
Good listener. Very much. Very much. Definitely a good listener.
Mm.
What else?
I guess avoids conflict as well.
Yes. Yes. As far as possible, they will avoid conflicts.
Mm.
Or
How will they
interfere with
work? I
others.
mean, what is their working style? Suppose they're working in an office. What will be their working style?
They'll be good
Loner.
followers, actually.
Good followers.
Good followers. Okay. What else?
Loner. Individual contributor, basically.
Individual contributor. Yes. Here you could say lone worker. This person will like to work alone. Because that means if they are working alone, then what is their way of working? Would they see what are they are afraid of people. They are afraid that somebody, they're not trusting everybody. At the same time, they are very deep into whatever they are doing.
They
They're
might not take
detailed.
responsibilities. They might not be eager to take responsibility. Whatever is given to them, they will stick to that.
Correct. But when they stick to that, they will check it
enjoy
100
their work.
times. They will check it 100 times. They will never trust whatever they are doing. They'll keep checking it 100 times. So these people become perfectionists. See, they are perfectionists who are not going to trust. So in their mind, they're not trusting, right? So if they're submitting something, they'll say, no, isko fir check karo. So if they are like that, they're perfectionists, means their quality of work, their accuracy is going to be very high. You're understanding this? The quality of work that they are going to do is going to be exceptional. Can you expect this quality of work from the other quadrants, AI and AE? Imagine that AI AE quadrant making a 100-page report, and imagine this guy making a 100-page report or a mathematical calculation. Who is going to do more better work?
Obviously.
Because this person likes to go deep into everything. That means micromanagement, detail orientation, eye for detail, understanding things in depth, going into deep, researching things, because they are not happy with what they know. They want to know more. So if I don't trust someone, I want to know more. I want to know more. Give me more. Give me more. Inquisitiveness, questioning, all that comes here. Right? So that means if you look at these people, they are very cautious. They are very careful. They are risk averse. So risk averse means they are good at calculating. So they will be very good risk mitigators. They are very good risk planners. Because they are very intuitive. They will know ye problem aa sakta hai. This problem can come, that problem. So they are very good at planning. They're very good at calculating, very good at analysis, very non-superficial. They go only by data. They do not go by emotions. They will go more with data. Their communication is fact-based and data-based. They are non-superficial, very focused on their task. They will work alone, very conscientious, very ethical, very sincere, very hardworking, committed, diligent. Micromanagers, methodical, meticulous. Can you see the number of qualities that is coming out? And all of them are positive. The problem with these people is they are very self-critical. Now, this is an information I'm giving you. Maximum people you'll find are very self-critical. These children score 90% and they come back crying. And there are children in that higher quadrant who will score 70% and they'll be having a party. And you will deal with these children and they will say, nahi, humne acha nahi kiya, bahut kharab hua. They'll be actually crying. All these toppers fall into this category, but then they are not at all happy with their life. They are always self-critical about themselves. They're always feeling ki, they're always worrying, they're always thinking, overthinking in their mind is happening. They're constantly checking in their mind, Are ye kya kar diya, wo kya kar diya, am I right, am I going wrong here, what are they thinking about me? So they're constantly introspecting. They're deep thinkers. They think a lot, worry a lot. They're doubtful about the self always. So these are certain things that we keep in mind about these people when we talk to them. So they require a huge boost in their self-esteem, more than the higher quadrant, because the higher quadrant, they are anyway confident. Whereas these guys, they're always self-critical. So they require a big push. So we need to talk a lot to them about their qualities and make them understand that their qualities are very unique. Because these are the people who can do detail-oriented work very well, research work very well, any kind of non-superficial, very focused work. For example, financial analysis or financial advisory work. Do you think any high network individual will give all his money to somebody in the higher quadrant? Dangerous. You want your money to be invested in safe place for a fine, long-term goal. You have to give it to somebody who is like this, who is more stable, who is cautious, who would do planning, calculation, process it, put it through a system, be very meticulous about it, be very methodical about it, create proper records, ensure documentation is perfect, go into every single micro detail. Isn't that what is needed when we are managing finances?
Yes.
So that is how we have to look at, how to connect these people. Now, second, any scientist, any analyst, any researcher, anybody who is a theoretical scientist or academic person or a professor who is actually working on a deep topic and doing research in it, think tanks, they all will fall into this category, right? Because they're very deep people. They're not superficial. But I'm not, again, this word non-superficial, I'm using it in a positive way. So I'm not telling the upper quadrant people that they are superficial while they are. So I'm not saying it. Okay. So we have to keep that in mind. We are turning the table on the head, saying that we are only talking about the positive qualities. We are non-superficial, task-focused. Whereas on top, we said result-focused, outcome-focused. These people are process-focused, method-focused. And both qualities are required. Steve Jobs was result-focused. Steve Wozniak was process-focused. That's how Apple got born. Steve Jobs alone could not have made Apple. Steve Wozniak had to join hands with Steve Jobs. Wozniak was the process-focused guy falling in this quadrant, and Steve Jobs was falling in the upper quadrant. Both of them together made Apple work. Apple cannot be made by only one person. So that is how this world works. So we have to, when we understand people, we have to make them understand that world is working in combinations. So once you know what you are good at, you stick to that. There is somebody else who will complement you in the other place. But both of you together will achieve results in life. Right? And Wozniak is happy being in the back end. Not many people know about Wozniak. Everybody knows Steve Jobs. And Wozniak is okay with that. But those who do research, who have understood it, yeah, without Wozniak, Mac could not have been made. He was the engineer, he was the architect behind it. He was the guy who did everything, all the design, everything was done by him. Right? So if you look at who are the people here? So I've just given examples which will give a good picture about what we are talking about. Abdul Kalam is a space scientist. He's an economist, this Manmohan Singh. Deep guys. And that's how they are where they are. That's how they reached where they reached. Right? Is this quadrant clear? Any questions here? Okay, career families, very clear. Scientists, academicians, historians, economists, lawyers. Lawyers come here, by the way. Now, this is an important point because when lawyers, we talk about lawyers, a lot of people think that lawyers need to argue because people see films, but that's not the lawyer's job. A real lawyer's job is working behind books, articles, reading, detail orientation, making those draft arguments, fixing those arguments. 90% of the job is the written work and the detailing work and understanding the case and building your argument so that you win the case. And 10% is going and arguing it in the court. So a person, just because he can talk well and argue well, sending them into law is a very big mistake. because they will get frustrated when they enter to law. You see a lot of kids, they join law and they get completely frustrated because they thought that they've watched movies and they thought that lawyer means I should be able to argue well. But actually law requires a lot of studies, a lot of research, a lot of detail orientation. So that's the problem. Last is this one. Last quadrant is extroverted and passive. So what will be the characteristics, key characteristics of this person? Extroverted is friendly with people. Passive is cool.
Shammers.
Sir, positive, sir.
He's the smart guy who doesn't do much, but he still gets everything done.
Quite a thing. So can we come up with some key characteristic words about this person? Like, what kind of nature they have, what is their basic, how they, when you look at them, how do they look like? What do
They
they
will
behave like?
pretend that they have done all the work.
They work behind scenes.
Fantastic. Fantastic. That's a good one. That's a good one.
Entrepreneurs?
Sorry?
Entrepreneurs here?
So entrepreneurs can be there anywhere. You could have a person who's a think tank who's an entrepreneur. You could have a Steve Jobs in that AI. You could have an entrepreneur as a RJ or a person who's running a radio station or this thing. So you can find entrepreneurs everywhere. Entrepreneur is just a mode of earning money. You disrupt, you create a new thing and you sell it in the market and you make money. So that can be done in any place. That's not the
So
point.
this is somebody who's self-driven then.
Why would you say self-driven?
Passive.
He connects well, but he is passive. So, he works at his
What are
will
these two
maybe.
things, when a person is connecting well but is passive, what comes to your mind?
I work at my will. Something like that.
Oh, work at your will. Now, passive is a person means he's not trying to change the world, right?
Pratibha ma'am, you've got lots
Not
of
the one to take
background
initiative.
noise.
Is it?
Can you?
No.
There's too much of
Pratibha
noise
ma'am
coming,
के उधर
ma'am. Can
कुछ
you?
आवाज बहुत आ रही है वहाँ पे. Okay, so
Not
see
the
the
one to
idea.
take initiative, but be the face of the team where possible.
This person is diplomatic kind of.
Right, we are getting closer. We are getting closer.
Diplomatic with good communication, soft spoken.
Fantastic. Fantastic. You're hitting the nail on the head, ma'am. Good. You're progressing. So soft spoken, diplomatic, okay.
And be good planners.
Good
Supportive.
planners, yes.
Good
Yes,
planner.
definitely good planners. Emotional also, right? Because extroverted means emotional. I can understand people very well. But at the same time, I'm passive. So I'm not like the upper quadrant where I'm jumping around and trying to entertain people. At the same time, I'm connected with people. Means what? I'm emotionally connected with people whom I'm talking to. You're understanding this? I'm passive. That means I'm not jumping around. Okay? But I'm emotionally connected to you when I'm talking to you. Means what? I'm listening. And I'm understanding. I'm patient. If I'm listening, I'm understanding and I'm patient. Then what is the quality of this person? Can you see the qualities of this person? I'm emotionally connecting to you. I'm understanding you. I'm not entertaining you, but I'm listening to you. And I know what you want.
Counselor, mentor.
Absolutely.
Empathetic.
Absolutely. So this is a connector. He's a one-on-one connector. The other one was a one-to-many connector. This guy is a one-on-one connector. So they are the people who really connect with people very well. They are soft-spoken. They are humble. They are modest. They are down to earth. They work in the back end, but they are still very, very liked and loved by everybody because they have this charm. They have this, the Buddha's halo around them. When you look at them, they'll be very calm, composed, serene, not restless, very stable, very patient, very quiet. But they have this, when they look at you, they connect with you. So that is where the extroverted passive thing comes into place. So look at the keywords. Ninad, can you just take over for a minute? I just had to take up this call.
Yeah. Okay. What else can we talk about this particular person? If we just like what Naveen was trying to talk about, now he's an extroverted. Just try to think from this particular point of view. He's extroverted. So when we say extroverted, there are two, three key factors which are there. One is the person is generally quite emotional. Okay. The second is he likes to connect with people, likes to talk to people. He's socially dependent. He's looking for their thing. So this person cannot be alone kind of thing. He has to have people around him. But he's passive. So he's able to carry around people. He's quite cooperative. So he also becomes a very good team player. राइट क्योंकि मैं तो सबको लेकर साथ में चल रहा हूं ना आई एम कोऑपरेटिव आई एम हार्मोनियस बिकॉज व्हाई हार्मोनियस बिकॉज I'm not active. I'm passive. I like to have. I'm not aggressive. I like to have people working with me. I like to have a very cool and a calm environment where I'm able to do things the way I want. I'm able to connect with people. I'm able to talk to people. I generally like to have a very harmonious and a peaceful kind of environment around me. So the moment we are talking from that point of view, right? So that is something which we have to understand when we are doing this. Now, again, as Naveen was talking about this, there are few things I would just like to reiterate. Generally, a person, when we have this drafts and when we have this, we will find that they have qualities in all the four quadrants. Chota mota kahin na kuch hoga. But what happens is because of the circumstances also because of the at times different things may be more predominant but generally what is the kind of style or what kind of thing quadrant which is going to be predominant in that is what we take. Right. So, इसीलिए generally what we do is we take the first quadrant, that is the highest quadrant where, so what we have done, there are some 24 factors. When you have taken the psychometric assessment, there are some 24 factors which are, which comes out of it. And each factor we have given certain, some markings are there. And accordingly, we are able to get that which is the factor which is more predominant over here and then from there we get okay this factor this quadrant has got maximum let us say points or numbers then this is the second one this is the third one this is the fourth one. So generally we have seen all the four quadrant a person has got in all the four quadrant but which are the two most predominant quadrant that is we take to understand them on a very broad level. Right. So if you would have seen your this particular reports also. So what we have done next is we have divided all these particular factors and we have created certain personality styles. Okay. So I think Naveen is back. So Naveen,
Yeah, I'm back.
now you can take over. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry for this thing. My mom is not well, so I just wanted to attend the call to check what Bangalore mein hai wo. Brother had called up. I just wanted to check that. Sorry. Okay. So we were talking about this last quadrant. So we have understood that when we are talking about EP means this person is more of, a very dependable, trustworthy, loyal, long-term relationships. These are the keywords. Who are the people whom, any ideas? Who are the people who would fit into this quadrant? Any guesses, any names? नहीं आ रहा है किसी को.
Religious preachers.
Fantastic, sir. Fantastic. See, bilkul perfect. You hit the nail on the head. So we have here we can see. So you're right. So people who are very Mother Teresa, all these kind of people who are very like good counselors and connectors, they fall into this category. But now, once you have seen these quadrants, we are not going to be saying that somebody is only into this quadrant. So there will be multiple factors falling into multiple quadrants. but we are picking up the primary, secondary quadrants and saying, okay, somewhere this person falls into this category. And then we look at their interest, we look at their other things and all, and then we try and validate and say, okay, overall, this person has these characteristics, and we are able to build a macro picture about that person, which should match 70 to 80%. It should match with that person's profile, which is good for us. Usse hum log, we can move further from there, right? Is this clear? Okay. So what are the, so we've seen the career families, counselors, they can follow social services, administrative services, where they will basically just follow the rules. They'll follow processes. They will not, they're good at connecting with people also and following processes quietly, not making too much of they will not like confrontation. These people don't like confrontation. So they will not negotiate. They will not close deals. They will accept whatever it is. Jai hai, theek hai. Ladai jhagda nahi karna. They want harmony. For them, harmony, security, stability is their motivator. Wherever I go, I want harmony, I want security, I want stability. I don't want any confrontation. I don't want any fights, not too much of noise. So these are those kind of people. So now when we are saying that now we have seen these quadrants, and now your reports are there, and we have tried to put your reports into different quadrants and say, okay, you have got one primary quadrant and one secondary quadrant, and we gave some names to that. So your report will say you're an influencer or you're this. So that basically is a combination of these quadrants. So what we need to do is whenever anybody takes a psychometric, we are supposed to first, step one is we are supposed to download that report. And using that report, we are supposed to pick up the profile mentioned in that report. So we will show you an Excel sheet in which we have given certain profile names and certain descriptions about that profile based on the primary quadrant and secondary quadrant, based on the factors that you've been found in your report. Your factors have been put into quadrants, and those quadrants have been picked up, primary and secondary. Some names have been given to it, and us name ke hisab se uska profile kya hoga, ek descriptor diya hua hai. So that is something that we can do. That is step number one. Step number two is from your system, you can download the reports. So you will see a long report and a short report. The short report is basically a concise 3-page report in which some description of paragraphic descriptions are given, career choices are given. So it is very easy for, suppose we are doing a bulk work, it becomes very easy for us somebody to carry that report with them and underline the keywords there. Whereas the long report is a huge report with every factor being explained, every factor ka explanation is given, and then you can pick up the keywords from there. So it's more detailed. And then all the careers are mentioned, all 23 sector careers are mentioned in that. Every career is alignment matrix is given to you. So all the details are available there. So you should download both the reports and then you should go through them in detail. So that is a step number 2. Step number 3 is using this profile and the report, you must create these keywords. Now, whatever keywords I had shown in the previous slides, when we typically do a session, we say that any person should be able to take out at least 30 to 40 keywords about themselves. That is a basic requirement, because these keywords are the ones which, when you start writing about yourself, now suppose you are doing this work with somebody and you start explaining that keyword to that person, saying that you are like this, this is what you find in you. That person correlates and says, yes, I'm like this, and they write it down. When they write it down, that there is a huge surge of self-esteem that starts happening there. And at the end of the session, say 30, 40, 50 keywords a person writes about themselves. And they say, this is your who am I. So if anybody asks that person later on, do you know who you are? What is your strengths? So that person should be able to list out 40 keywords saying that these are my strengths. This is who am I. I know myself. So now there's no comparison. He's not comparing himself or herself with anybody outside in the world. You have your characteristic, I have my characteristic, and I am unique the way I am, and I am good the way I am. So being comfortable in your own skin is the name of the game. You are not trying to say, I want to develop this or I want to develop that. I know who I am first. First step is understand who I am and write down. These are 40 keywords that belong to me. This is who I am. That becomes strong. Then the whole way of looking at the world is going to change. So that is the first step. This is step 3 we have done. So keywords, we have listed out 30, 40 keywords. Then we go to the world of work. Now we have got the report which is showing us career families. And now you will see the alignment saying that, okay, I am like this. So I'm aligned to these career families, most aligned, well aligned. So I pick up those career choices and say, okay, now I know this person, and this person has, the report is saying these are families. Even if the report is saying something else, I still know what this person is. So I will align the families according to that. and say, okay, I'll pick up those families which suit in my vision, because my visualization has been created. Now I have got a vision कि ये इसका influencer है, इसका ये quadrant में fit होता है, तो he is fitting more into these roles. उधर उसका roles में most aligned या well aligned आ रहा है, so I pick up those choices. Now there are more than 23 sectors, 110 families. So 110 families में से हमको we have to pick up say around 10 to 12 options pre-session, before the session. 10 to 12 options we have to pick up and underline it and keep it with us. After we have visualized this person, we just pick up those 10 to 12 careers and keep it with us. That student will select only 4 out of it. Shortlist 4 ही करेगा. But हमारे पास as a backup we keep 10 to 12 with us. So that is how we do the pre-session analysis. Now when we are doing this 10 to 12, how are we doing it? We are not just going by the report. We are correlating it with the student profile. Now when you entered into the portal, you had filled up the profile, like career, your career choices, your hobbies, which class you're studying in, which stream you have selected. All that is information is already available with us. So, and you have done an initial talk also sometimes with them beforehand. If not, at least you have this data with you. Using this data and the report that you have, we are able to correlate, saying that, okay, I understand this person is got interest in sports, or this person is interested in this music or whatever it is, and this is correlating. So accordingly, those 10 to 12 get selected. So I'm correlating the hobbies, career interest with the report that is coming out. This is my step number 5. And then my final list of 10 to 15 career options, I take out and keep it with me. So this much is done in my personal diary. So I use a personal diary and I do all this research and I keep it with me, even before I go for the session. So this is the pre-session analysis that one has to do. So I'll just run you through it. This is how it looks like. So when you open the report, you will see the profile name out here. So when you open your short report or long report, you will see a profile name, strategist. This belongs to a particular quadrant, multiple quadrant, primary, secondary quadrant. And there's a paragraph written below in which the entire person's profile is written out there. So this is the short report. The long report will be something that you will download, and there'll be a lot of pages in that. You will see that. Then you will create the strength inventory. So you'll pick up all the keywords according to the paragraph and underline those paragraphs and pick up those keywords and write it down. So you'll have 30 to 40 keywords which you can dictate to the student. So that's the next step. Then you pick up the career choices. Now career choices are like this. It looks like this. So if you notice here, your personality, ability, work values, knowledge, and this is the alignment matrix. So this is the career cluster. And that means the sector adventure, sports and physical has got these clusters inside. Clusters are families. Now every family has got a different type of work. We'll talk about the type of work in the little bit while from now. You'll understand what it is. But that type of work, what kind of personality it requires, what kind of abilities is required, what work values it requires, what knowledge it requires, that algorithm has been made in the backend. So it automatically shows a Likert scale out here. Well aligned, most aligned, well aligned, aligned, optional, not recommended. So these are the 5 options that are there for all of them. So depending on the way you have entered your data in the system, the algorithm runs and it throws open this Likert scale alignment matrix for all the career options in the system. So that is the next one. So once you do this, select the career options which are well aligned, most aligned, or aligned according to your visualization that you have done of that person and the key words that you have got out. You pick up now the person has already selected 4 sectors. So that becomes a favorite choice of that person. So you can pick up the ones from there. Plus you can go to the other sectors below. 23 sectors, all of them are listed in the report. You can pick up the respective, whichever sector you think that the person will fit into, pick up those choices and you make a short list of about 10 to 15 career choices from here. So that is the next step. And you correlate it with the hobbies. Now this is where the hobbies are written. Like this person has written professional badminton is a game that this person is playing. So now I know that this is a badminton player and I know the profile of this person. So I'm able to correlate. So accordingly, the choices also have been selected this person. He must have selected adventure, sports and physical as one of his main choice of career. So it will automatically fit into that place. So I know that this is one of the choices that I'm going to use in my career option. And the balance I will suggest myself. I will take those 10, 15 choices and keep it with me. When I start discussing with that person, we will get a lot of correlation and we don't direct anybody. We facilitate that person to take a decision. So while discussing, that person itself will say, oh, I would like to see this. I would like to see that. And that is how we fix up 4 areas. So it's a very discussion based work that we do. It is not ever a directive work that we do. It's more discussion based. So it's always a win-win situation. So first is validation. Second is discussion based decision making of career options which the person is going to go and do research upon. So this is how the step number 6, make a list of 10 to 15 career options from various sectors from the report and the portal. So the portal has got a career library, so you can go to the career library. You can yourself do the research on those career options. You will get to know which personality abilities are fitted there. So you'll be able to do the correlation there in the portal itself. So this is the step number 6. So this is how this entire pre-analysis work has to be done. Right? So our first part of the session is completed, where we have understood the psychometric report and the steps to do this entire work of, before you go for a session, how to analyze the report and what are the steps to be taken. The next which is going to be done is how to understand the world of work. We'll cover it after this. So, but before we go into that, if there's any doubt or any feedback or any question that you want to ask, we are open to the questions. Spend some time on that.
One thing which I would like to add is, whenever you are going for any type of career guidance, you have to do your homework. Like, even after me and Naveen, we have been doing it for last 7-8 years, more than Naveen has been doing more than that. But still, any and every day, we land up doing at least 4 to 5 hours of this ourselves. Slowly, it reduces. You will get to understand things faster. But if once there is an analysis sheet which Naveen will be sharing, where we actually do all these steps. So what happens is, once we put everything, and then when we are going over there with the students, and when we are confident, and that confidence, it gets transferred to the youth, and then we are able to do it in a much better manner. Because what we have to understand is, we are not only talking to the youth, not to the student. Parents are also there, right? And we have to convince the parents also, because the whole idea about doing this exercise is not to create a rift in the family where the child is saying something else and the parents are thinking something else. We have to get them on the same page. Our whole concept of doing this particular thing was, how can the families be together? How can the families, parents support the children? So if they are on the same page, if the child says, ki, okay, like, because today, nowadays, generally, if you talk to the parents, yes, there are certain parents who are looking for engineering or doctor because they feel that those areas are safe. But generally, if you see, they will say that whatever the child does or says, we are okay with it. But then the child doesn't know, the parents don't know. And if the child says, I want to become an RJ, he may be from the AE quadrant and he wants to become an RJ or something like that, where he can actually do very well, he can make lots of money, he can grow very well. But the parents are not aware of that particular thing. They may get this, ki, what is he getting into? And over there, then we will unnecessarily land up creating friction over there. So the idea is that if the parents also understand why child is more suitable for that, why the thing is that is a very good career where the child can grow, he can be happy, he can actually fulfill whatever they want from the child, they will go along. And then they will also start looking for those kind of things and they will start supporting. So that is the whole intention of doing this particular career guidance. So please, whenever you are doing this, whenever the things are there, yes, report is available, but please understand the psychometric assessment is just 10% of the whole career guidance process. It is understanding, it is connecting with them, it is explaining to them, understanding the world of work. And like Naveen said, ki, okay, we are getting from certain part of it, their hobbies, their career interest. Now, if the child says, ki, okay, I want to become, let us say, architect, and he is a totally different kind of personality. But if you try to tell him, no, you cannot become this, the person will he will straight away cut off from you. Right. So you can say, okay, why do you think? Okay, you want to do this. Okay, you can go for this also. But however, we suggest that these maybe, why don't you look at these careers also? And slowly will you realize that when we are going ahead with the whole thing, the world of work and etc., subsequently the child themselves say, no, what you're saying is right. This is a more suitable career for me. Right. So the idea is to have a peaceful environment and a harmonious thing where everybody is able to take their decision collectively.
Absolutely. And, there are lots and lots of cases that we have seen, where people have taken wrong decisions and they have fallen back into the right quadrant after some time. There was a particular case, I'm telling you, father is running his own clinic. They got a hospital there, and his daughter wanted to, it was an understandable thing that a daughter would also get into medical and take over from the father and all that. And it was okay. Her personality was matching, everything was fine. But then 3 months down the line, after attending those medical classes and all, she realized that that is not what she wanted. She was actually a very creative person. She was very good at design and drawing and all that, and that is what was interest for her. But she was suppressing all those interests because she wanted to please her father. And the father was not forcing. Father was open. Father said, let her do whatever she wants to do. But then the father had struggled and created his own hospital. And she knew that she's the only daughter, so she wants to support him. So somewhere she's suppressing her own desire and she's trying to put a mask saying that I'm okay, I'll be a medical student and all. So I said, okay, fine. It is your conscious decision, whatever you're taking. I'm not going against your decision. But then the father themselves, mother came back to me after 2-3 months and said there is something wrong. And then when we had a talk with her, we opened up again. Then she said, something is wrong. I'm not finding it very interesting. Then I started probing. Then she said, yeah. Then we found out that that design choice which she had left out in the previous one, she said, that is what I wanted to do. But she was hiding it all the while. So these kind of cases happen because this is not a one-time work that we are doing. It has to be something that connectivity has to be built and we have to understand. And these kind of cases will happen in that. But we have to be very clear that we are not forcing anything on anyone. It is their decision that they are going to take. But we are helping them to take the decision based with a lot of data points and a lot of research that they are doing, understanding about the world of work, and then take the decision. So that is how this whole thing works. Right? Any questions? Okay. So if there are no questions, I'll move ahead. So connecting the dots. Now we have seen the person, but then we have to connect. We have talked a little bit about the world of work, but it's very important to understand how the world of work is to be looked at. Not many people understand this. And that's why career guidance cannot be restricted to reading a report and telling them that you should do this or you should do that. We have to understand the world of work and then only we'll be able to connect the dots properly. So it's a very important part of the exercise where we say career is not just about the education that you're doing or the stream that you're selecting. I'm PCB or PCM or I'm getting into engineering or I'm getting into medical or whatever. Those are just education. But career is not just about education. Career is about the occupation. Occupation itself defines how you're occupying yourself in time, over time. That means over a long period of time, I'm occupying myself doing something. That is career. So for the last 10 years, 11 years plus, I have been working on mentoring and I've been working with parents and children or training people. So that is my occupation. So my occupation is what defines my spending of time on and what I actually do. So that becomes occupation. So all activities being done by a person, all extracurricular activities, everything becomes very, very important for us for connecting the dots. Because my inclination to learn something, my extracurricular activity, people say, oh, that is my hobby. But that hobby is a very big clue because hobby is something that a person enjoys doing. That's why they do it. That means their interest, their inclination lies in that area. So we cannot treat it as something very superficial. It is not superficial. It is a very deep thing. It's a clue for all of us. Okay, this is something that the person is naturally interested in. So can we connect the dots? Can we understand that hobby? Can we understand their inclination? Can we understand their personality? Can we draw all these things together before we give them some suggestions? What are the options that they can get into from the work perspective? So that is what is a career. So it's about occupation. So this is what in the Bhagavad Gita, they call it as Swadharma. I have a Swabhava. Swabhava is my personality and Swadharma is my occupation. So how am I connecting my Swabhava to my Swadharma is the work that we are trying to do. Saying that I am naturally inclined towards something. My interests tell me that I should do this. So therefore, I should connect those things. Those areas should be connected where I can do this in the real world. The Ikigai concept is also the same. So we are same concept we are talking about, but it's a different way that we are putting it across. So ultimately, the process is select an occupation and then plan the education steps. So our occupation selection becomes our primary criteria. Understand personality, understand the occupation that I'm going to work for the next 40 years in this direction. I'm going to take a particular direction. I'm going to work like this. According to that, I decide my education steps. So education steps don't define my occupation. My occupation defines my education steps. So that is very important. That's why even when we are working in colleges, we work with MBA students, we work with BBA students. We tell them you may have decided in BBA or MBA, but that is not your occupation. Real occupation is going to start after college is getting over, and that you have not yet decided. Somebody may be doing some degree, but they have not decided their occupation. So it's never too late for somebody to actually decide what is the occupation they are going to get into, and then accordingly decide your education step. If somebody's finished education, it's fine. You can still get into that occupation what you want to do. So that is how this whole process works. So how do we do it? So we have divided the world into something we call it as the work categories, and we connect the profiles to those work categories. Like we showed, we have got the profiles, the quadrant profiles, and we connect it to what do you mean by work category. Now I'll give an example. What we say is every work, we have created categories, means these are families or the clusters that you saw. These clusters define the core component of work that happens in that family. Now, what do you mean by core component? It means that if you remove that core component from that work category, the work will not exist. For example, a teacher is teaching in a class. If I remove the students from the class, will the teacher's job exist? The teacher is teaching a subject. But if the students removed from the class, if there is no class, there are no students, will the teacher's job exist? So the teacher is a people-oriented role. Subject is also there, but what is the core component is the connection with the students, the people orientation. So that is how it is decided. So every family, every work that we do, every occupation that we do has got a core component to it, or maybe multiple core components, 1 or 2 components, but we should be clear about those core components. Those core components define the category of work. When we understand that core component of like a lawyer's work, the core component is doing research, detail orientation, reading articles, understanding articles. That is the core component. Arguing in court is secondary. It is not the core component. So accordingly, when we know that this is the core component, then only we can connect the profile correctly to that work. So we have to understand work in this way. It cannot be understood in any other way. Like people say, I have decided that I want to get into IT. Now, IT is not a career at all, because IT is just information technology. But within information technology sector, there are different types of families. There is a software developer. A software developer is a role where a person has to sit down in front of a computer and do a lot of data work, a lot of research work, a lot of debugging, bugging, and all that they have to do sitting in one place, monitoring the computer for 10 to 12 hours. That is a software development role. In the same IT company, there is a delivery manager or a program manager whose job is to run like a blue-ass fly from one pillar to post, ensuring that customers' requirements are met, delivery is met, results are given. So it's a completely different role. So imagine an introverted person being put into delivery management and an extroverted person being put into software development, which is happening in the IT industry a lot. And that is creating a lot of ruckus because it is complete misalignment. So if you understand the personality, if you understand the nature of a person, we will be able to connect the alignment. How well are they aligned to a particular role in the industry? And that is what we are talking about, identifying career sectors and roles and connecting it with the particular, some vision statement in their mind, which makes their aspirations, saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. So that is how the whole thing works. So how did we do it? So it's very simple, actually. See, when we speak to people, and when we look at the world, so what we did is we divided the whole world into 3 major categories. We call it knowledge-based, skill-based, and behavior-based. Now, when we say knowledge-based, all the research, analysis, investigative, all which requires a lot of academic studies and research, or a theoretical work or academic work or detailing work, that comes into knowledge area. So all the scientists, all the analysts, all the lawyers, all the people who have to study a lot, they all fall into the knowledge category. Then you have the skill category. So people who work with equipment, who are artists, who are designers, who are, maybe performing artists, or maybe gymnasts, or divers, or any people, all these people fall into the skill. Because when you talk about skill, the development avenue of people in the knowledge or in the skill completely is different. The education or the development that you need to do, especially when talking of students, how do you develop them? A knowledge person has to study and reach a PhD level. Whereas a skill person does not need so much of theoretical studies. They need a little bit of theoretical studies, but they need to get into the market. They need to build reputation. They need to build their skills. People have to know that their skills are good. So they have to start building their skills much earlier. So if somebody wants to become a technician or work in a design or work in performing arts or anything which is requiring their skill, the skill has to be honed. At a very early age, they have to start being visible to the world, where the world will recognize them and give them the required, the demand is created for their roles in the work. So that's very, very important for people in the world. And this is where non-traditional, unconventional work falls into place, whether it is marketing or social media or, performing artists or, people who are working in, say, piping or anything like that. So any kind of equipment related work, you require that skill to be developed. It's very, very important. And then comes the last part, which is the behavior based work. Now here is where all these generic roles come into play. It could be somebody who is very, very result oriented, okay, very result oriented person, or very people oriented person, somebody who's very, very good at connecting with people, acting, loves to come on the stage. Again, this is where it's a soft skill. That soft skill, the skill on top is a hard skill. Here we are talking about soft skill. The soft skill part needs to be developed. So their connectivity with people, their communication skills, their handling equipment related to that soft skill. For example, somebody wants to become a radio jockey, they need to know how a radio jockey works. So it has to start early. It cannot be waited they will finish their graduation and then they will start working. It doesn't work. They have to start working early into this. They have to get exposed to that environment. They have to go and work in that environment as early as possible. They should get exposed. So that is how people-oriented work has to be looked at. They should hold a mic and be in MC of every event. They should start doing that work. They should build aspirations to become someone great in that field. So that is one outcome-oriented work. This is generic. These people are good at getting results. So they can become CEOs and they can become business owners, but they cannot do that by sitting in a classroom. They have to build this, this risk-taking ability. They have to build this leadership qualities of crisis management through practical activities, adventure camps, getting into certain campaigns, being part of certain, campaigns like this, being very active in that area. So all that they have to do. So the development is very different for them. So this is a typical, we are looking at all the AI, AE category. People fall in this behavior category. Now, there's no point telling them to do a degree and get a PhD because it's not going to be useful for that kind of work family. That work family demands them to have presence and experience in that area. Now, process and services, yes, they will do a little bit of studies, but again, they will have to get into that industry. They will have to develop a reputation. Most processes are being taken over by AI, so it's a danger zone. But services, yes, they are followers. They will work in services, administrative services, social services, personal services. They can get into those areas and they can start building their reputation there. And that's how. So this is the macro level and this is the micro level. So there are 3 macro levels and there are 12 micro levels that we have developed families. And according to these families, those sectors have been broken down. And for each of these families, we have created an algorithm. What is the personality required? What is the ability required? What is the work value required? And that is how the alignment matrix has been created, right? So this is the whole understanding about the world of work. So if you look at it, now what we have done is we have created a summary here, summary sheet here. So we will show you an Excel sheet. I'll just show you an Excel sheet in which we'll show you what this profile name means. What are the quadrants that make this profile name? But depending on that profile name, like specialist is person, basically that IP is very important here. The person is in the lower quadrants. So research, analysis. So world of work classification is knowledge. Then there's a knowledge seeker. Again, a perfectionist kind of a person which works on the equipment and the physical. So engineers, technologists, it's a combination of knowledge and skill. Then there is investigative, like a lawyers or forensic specialist, which again fall in the category of it's a mixture of AI and IP. Okay, so there are lawyers, forensic specialists, investigators. It's a mix of knowledge and personality. Then there's a diplomat. Okay, there's a strategist. So like this, we have created these categories. We'll be sharing this Excel sheet with you, what these categories mean and what are the 2 quadrants that make up this category. And then what is the personality descriptor for that category? That is also there in that Excel sheet. So we'll share that with you so that you can understand that how this whole thing has been summarized. So that it becomes easy. When you get a report, you can just use this data and you can just understand the person, and then you can use the portal and the system to suggest the career options to them. So that is how this whole system has been created. So this is about the world of work. Any questions till now here? Are you sure there is no questions?
Yeah, no, I'll ask one.
Bolo, sir.
I just wanted to know, like you said, a person could be in AE, AI, and any of these quadrants. So accordingly, based on that, though we have divided this world of work into these categories and these domains, but obviously there are possibilities that one could fit in multiple
Absolutely.
categories.
Absolutely. The only problem here is, sir, अगर मैं जानता हूं कि the banda is very active and say he's extroverted, and he is saying that I want to get into something which requires a person to be completely introverted. If there is a complete misalignment, then I have to be careful. As long as that complete misalignment is not there, we can always, because the person knows in his mind. That's why that correlation is important. So if we are talking to that person and we understand a little bit of the background of the person, then we'll be able to make a decent judgment कि ये कहीं misaligned तो नहीं हो रहा है. The only check that we have to make is complete misalignment नहीं होना चाहिए. थोड़ा misalignment is okay.
And quadrants
So
could
that is
change
what. So
based on
we
situations.
Sorry?
Quadrants could change based on situations.
Sir, okay, that's a good point. So what happens is, what our learning is, like, you're right, it could change, but our learning is that personality per se does not have major changes, in these some factors. The extrovert introvert factors will change because they are related to environment and circumstances, but the active passive are something that is very hard. It normally doesn't change. Extrovert introvert will change, because suppose I am an introverted person, I have to go and speak in front of audiences, I may be extroverted because it's a soft factor, so I can always learn and I can build it up. But a very passive person, it is very, very difficult for that person to put on a mask of an active person and work in the world for a long time, because his basic nature is to be passive. So he cannot suddenly put on a mask and become very aggressive and active. He may do it for some time, but it is not, the spring is going to get collapsed after some time. He's going to get frustrated. So that frustration should not come. So misalignment creates frustration and depression and all those problems. So to avoid that, we have to be very careful on giving the alignment matrix. Introverted, extroverted, you're right. Some changes, minor changes are possible. But active passive mein gadbad nahi hona chahiye. That is very important.
So Naveen, we can actually many sir, so I'm taking that advantage, sir, of knowing you. So he's a strategist. Okay. So just if you see the report. So I think what we can do is maybe we can just talk about one odd days for them to understand what does it mean, and then maybe he can talk more about it.
Yeah. So I'll do one thing. I'll share that Excel sheet also with them. 1 minute. Let us look at that Excel sheet. Okay, let me share it.
Can we do it with a person's actual report and identification in terms of ये quadrant है, इसलिए ये आ रहा है?
Yeah. We'll do that. So first, let us see this Excel sheet. So I'll just show you. So if you look at this, okay. So let's look at for example, in Katha.
Strategist है, AEIP.
I was quite happy with my outcome actually.
So
except for one place where I felt I was not judged right, but maybe the inputs that I had provided were probably
no, fair enough. So sir, क्या है ना, आपका profile ही थोड़ा सा paradoxical है ना? So your profile itself is paradoxical because you have opposite quadrants being with it. You've got two opposite quadrants. So Atul sir ka jo quadrant hai, it is like AE and IP, which are completely opposites. Okay, that means he's a paradoxical profile. So on one end, he is very good at emotionally connecting with people and understanding people very well, and being very cajoling and getting work done, and managing and relating with people. You do it very well. But on the other hand, you are also very process oriented, very systematic, very methodical. You want
Yeah, yeah.
discipline, you want quality. That is also important. So for you, both
Yeah,
these factors, though they are paradoxes, but both of them are important for you. And because of which, what happens is you are emotionally connected very well with people. So that emotional connection with people and that process orientation together ensures that you are a person who can manage any kind of technical work very well, along with customer.
There I would probably disagree a little. Because my technical base is not very strong.
Understandable, sir. When I say technical, you're going from the Fauci definition of technical. I don't mean the Fauci technical word. I mean to say that suppose some work is given to you, you would understand the requirement of that work in terms of the
Yeah.
process required, the systems required, and the way to do that work in a very methodical, systematic way, and all that. That is something very
Yeah.
clearly available to you in front of you in your mind, right? And on the
Yeah.
other side, you also understand the person's requirement, the emotional requirement. So these two things together, okay, you can able to make it up very well together. So people like you are very good generally in anything which is very pleasing to the eye, aesthetics. You are very good at organizing stuff. You can arrange things very well. It will come
Yeah.
very naturally to you, because you will know कि किसको क्या अच्छा लगेगा, कैसे अच्छा दिखेगा. So you'll be able to manage that very beautifully.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right.
that is a typical a profile of yours, which we say. Technical service managers, customer service, relationship managers, design requirements, all these things, requirements of design, how a particular suppose event हो रहा है तो कैसे होना चाहिए, कैसे arrange होना चाहिए, organize होना चाहिए, all that stuff you can think very clearly in your mind. You're very good at that, putting things together.
But I'll be very poor at sales and marketing. I'll not be able to sell what I produce.
Exactly, because see, you're not a person who is only driving the result. You have a dual this thing of understanding what the person needs and putting it into a good process and a system to be followed.
Yeah.
That's your core,
Yeah, that's right.
right? So that's how it is.
Just one disclaimer over here. See, this assessment, when we are doing the career part of it, it is from 13 to 25 years of age. For all of you, we just wanted to help you understand that when you are dealing with the student, what is the whole process which you will be following with them, right? So whatever career options or something which is coming, the personality will be same. The personality will not change. But the careers which are coming in the report or which is coming, it may be not what you have followed, right? Because think from this particular point of view, that a child who is 14 or 15 years old and he has got what Atul sir's personality. So what kind of careers are you going to suggest to him? Think from that point of view. Not, you can't say कि यार नहीं मैंने तो technical काम किया ही नहीं है, so I'm not a technical this. So what this is, he could have actually gone into a technical side also, and he could have done very well over there. The idea is that for us to help them understand what comes naturally to you and then work in that particular direction. Because when it comes naturally to you, you are not putting extra effort in getting the thing done. First. Second, you are not putting on a mask. See, abilities are there. There are kids who will be able to do lots of things. Whatever they want, they will be able to do, and they will be quite successful also in that. That's not an issue. But are they going to be happy? Are they going to actually enjoy what they are doing? That is what we are coming to.
I found it very interesting to find chef and culinary artist as one of the career options that I got.
Yours, okay, let's talk about your profile also. Let's see. Pranav Shakha ka dekhte hain. एक minute, I'll just open it up. So it's okay now? Can we discuss your profile? Are you okay with it?
Absolutely.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. Okay. So, okay. So I think influencer is your profile, and influencer happens to be a combination of
I and A.
What did you say, Nat?
Huh?
AE and AI.
Sorry,
AE and AI. So
A
A
and
is
A.
primary, AI is secondary. So basically, you come across as a flamboyant person who loves communicating, building own recognition and fame, center of attraction. So basically, you're a persuasive, people-oriented person who loves to be, very good at building relationships, very good at connecting, very good at being. You enjoy being in front of the camera. So you would love, going and taking on a session and working with groups and communicating, motivating, training. This is something that comes naturally to you. That's what I understand from this. You love to be in front of the stage and doing work. Getting work done through people also is very easy for you. Okay, so it's something that comes naturally to you. So that's what it comes out. And if you look at your report, so here we are. So okay, so if you look at your report, so you must have selected. So of course, optimistic outlook is very high for you.
Naveen, are you sharing the report?
I think so. Am I sharing the screen? No, I'm not.
No,
Okay.
no.
Let
You're
me
not.
stop sharing.
So if you can just share the report also, people can
Yeah,
see
I'll
ki what
share.
is the thing. It will be easier for them to understand that.
Yes. So this is the report of it. So intrinsic drivers, if you look at it, optimistic outlook is 99, go-getter is 99, easygoing is 39. So I look at the top ones, optimistic outlook. So you see, this optimistic outlook is you naturally find the positive aspects of life, easily have fun, pleasure seems to accompany, you handle emotional up and down very well. So basically, you're a very optimistic person. So that's coming out here. Go-getter is like naturally take charge of your life. You like to go and take charge of stuff, and you're always active. Basically, the active part comes out here very clearly. Okay, easygoing is not that high, but it's average, flexible and easygoing, readily adapting to changing circumstances. While you not actively take charge, you contribute positively by going with the flow and maintaining harmony. So that is something that it's coming out here. Cognitive processing, thinking style, socially dependent means again people oriented, imaginative and emotionally driven. So rather than logical, you're more an emotional person. So your emotional connectivity is very, very high, 99. So that comes out, that brings that extroverted part in you very strongly. Energized by interaction with others and environment, thrive in social settings. When we talk about realistic, you rely on practical information, you value efficiency, but also open into considering new ideas. It's average. Whereas if you look at the imaginative, it's very high. You have a very creative mind. Your intuition and ability to see the bigger picture is very high. Okay, so that's new ideas. And emotion and empathy is your strongest quality. So you're connecting with people, empathy, emotions, strong connections with people, navigating social situations. All this is very, very high in your case. And then the behavior part, again, self-confidence is very high. Again, your ability to face audiences, put your point across, it's something that comes across very strongly, getting correlated. You have both diligence and non-conformance. That means you're very diligent, you're very sincere, and you follow all the rules. But when required, you'll also not conform. So that is, both these bipolarities are strong in both cases, right? And authoritative is moderate. It means you're not that aggressive or not a shouting kind of a person, but yes, you're good at taking charge and you can lead. And cooperation is very high. So again, cooperation relates to your ability to maintain harmony and peace and stability, and that is something that you prefer to have in an environment. So this is what comes out in your personality. So overall, these are the keywords that would define you as a person, sir. So how much does it match with you, sir, Pranav, sir?
I think fairly well.
Right. So then abilities, of course, you have only marked this all high, most of it, which is not very important here. But then work values are important. If you look at it, high openness to new experiences. You are looking at risky work, which more result-oriented work and all. Independent work you're looking at. So and then this is more morally fulfilling work and helping society, which is why you are here today. So these values will change because depending on your age, depending on your maturity, these values are going to change. Today, these are your work values. And then the design, your selected sectors, you selected sports and adventure sports and physical. Then you selected aerospace and aviation. You selected armed forces, and you selected education and training. So it's accordingly you're getting the aligned choices and all that. So and then all the 23 sectors are listed out here. So if you notice all the 23 sectors, the alignment matrix has been given in the report. And then at the end, you will get a report which will show you what are the top 5 sectors or clusters which are most suitable as per the computer algorithm. So this is what comes out from the computer algorithm. But we don't go directly by this. It is just a report that is coming out. We go by understanding the quadrant and understanding the person and then discussing with them. They have selected certain things, so we take that as one of the important things. Then while discussion, we prepare our own list of 10, 15. And this report is there as a framework for a benchmark for us to compare. That's about it. But we don't blindly go by the report, never. Because after all, it's a computerized algorithm. So we cannot just use a computer to, decide something. Then we look at if I'm looking from the person's perspective, I found this. But from the career perspective, for that logistics retail, what is the personality required? What are the factors required? What is the work value required? What is the knowledge area required? That is also given in the report. For media and entertainment, for tourism and hospitality, so adventure sports and physical. So all this is also available. So this whole report
And
is
all this information is also available in the career library.
the
So
career.
if you feel ki some career is not, and these are the families. So Naveen, if you can just go to the career library and just show them the sector and cluster, then they can see it.
Yeah. So if you go to the career library, you will see it like this. So now similarly, if you go to any sector, so you want to select any sector, you say media and entertainment, and you select a cluster. So okay, performing arts and broadcast journalism. So you can say all these job roles are there in this. Live performer, music therapist, desk editor, poets. So you say poets, I want to be a poet. And what is the kind of poet's job? What do they do? What is the nature of work? What is the minimum qualification? What is the economic sector? What is the personality factors that are important here? What is the category? What is the skill level? What are the abilities? What are the work values? Or personal with disability, knowledge areas. So all this information is available for every single job role also. So you can go and do this sector selection, career cluster selection for all of them. And you can check for yourself where it is. So tourism and hospitality. So let's say chef.
And you have this filters also on the left-hand side, the economics, this sector, or you want to looking for a technical or non-technical, or you're looking for
Suppose you want an
commerce
organized
based.
only. You want only organized, so you'll get only organized one. If you want unorganized, you want technical, using technical, you'll get here is only chef, so it'll be non-technical. So you will find all these job roles are there in this. So you can go to any of these job roles and you can check food styling photographer, for example. So if you see what is the thing required, so what are the type of work that a person is doing, what is the category of work, creative work, what is the personality required for it, what are the work values required for it, what are the abilities. So you can do your research on this basically before you want to suggest something to someone. So it is a full ecosystem that has been given for you to easily just at your home, at your beck and call, just keep checking it. And then you shortlist the careers and you make the notes for yourself. Then you can go and discuss with your student.
One thing I wanted to ask that out of the 23 sectors which are listed, now you will find that the sector in which you are not even remotely inclined towards, usme bhi you get that thing most likely that
Yeah.
right for that
Exactly.
option which comes.
Because you have not worked in that, na sir. If you are a 14, 15-year-old and you are open to everything in the world. Today at this
But
stage,
that
this
is
stage and age, we are
too wide a choice. Like I think in my case also some aerospace and some aviation came. Which
So why we keep it wider choices? Because we don't want to tell somebody that you can do only this or you can do only that. And we are not going by stream selection. We can select by stream also. So we can actually go and filter it by stream and you will get only that stream related careers.
my question was, suppose based on that, if you were to make a suggestion to a young boy that this is what you should go for, then how much should be the optimum choices that you give him? If you give him too many choices, then I think
exactly, you're right. So we don't give too many choices. We give 4 choices.
4 only,
We give only 4 choices. But before we go for the session, we prepare 10 to 15 choices in our mind. So that we have the ability to play around when we are discussing, because we don't know anything, na sir, we are in a blind spot. मुझे नहीं मालूम ना इसको क्या अच्छा लगेगा क्या अच्छा नहीं लगेगा, तो मैं 10-15 तैयार करके जाता हूँ. At the end of discussions, we finalize on 4, but during discussion.
So, sir, how it is happening is like when he said 10 to 15 choices. So when we are talking to them, would you like to get into this, or would you like to be in the aerospace aviation where you are a pilot and you're flying for either for the Navy or for this particular thing? So uske andar jata hai. The child says, yes, this is something which excites me. Okay, we keep it aside as one of the choice, like cooking or something, and I would like to be a chef or something like that. So that becomes this. तो उस तरह से करके the choice always is of the child, right? So we are just giving suggestions ki would you be interested in this? Then out of this we reduce it to 4 to 5 career choices, whatever is their thing, and then we ask the child to explore. Okay, when we are talking about exploration, we will be sharing that subsequently, where there is a full.
I'm showing it. I'm showing it. I'm just coming.
So when we are talking about the exploration part, the whole thing is ki what type of work are you doing? What kind of money which you will be making? What will be the daily work which you will be doing? Lots of things. Education kya karna hai? So the idea is whatever the child is doing, he should be making a informed choice. See, you may be suitable for, there are so many, जैसे आप कह रहे थे ना 23 सेक्टर, अलग अलग सेक्टर में आपका जैसे प्रोफाइल है एज अ स्ट्रेटेजिस्ट, एज अ दिस मैनेजर, एंड आप you can go in different sectors and you can be doing that work. Like, yes, earlier you were in the Navy and you were doing that particular kind of work. Now you are in the education sector and you are doing that similar kind of work. Okay, so that is why you are able to fit in over there. बट अगर आपको अभी बोला जाए कि यार तुम पढ़ाना शुरू करो और या जैसे है कि ना बिजनेस लेकर आओ, ठीक है, यू विल नॉट फिट इनटू दैट काइंड ऑफ वर्क. सो व्हाट दैट इज व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू से कि इसके अंदर यू कैन गो इन एनी ऑफ द सेक्टर्स एंड यू कैन बी डूइंग दैट काइंड ऑफ वर्क. दैट इज व्हाई द सेक्टर एंड द फैमिली ऑफ वर्क. इन दिस सेक्टर व्हिच फैमिली आर यू मोर सुटेबल फॉर?
Okay.
Okay, so now one more important point, and in our course, when you go into our portal and you do the training, we'll be
Sanjeev
going
sir,
through
I think
this.
want to say something, Naveen.
Who?
Sir,
Sanjeev
just
sir.
had a small doubt. Actually,
Ah, sir.
while I was going through my report, short and long both, I tried to download it as a PDF.
Okay.
It only giving an option to a printer. Like normally, if you
सर
Is it-
यू गो टू दैट प्रिंटर एंड वहां पर आप प्रिंट का ऑप्शन दो, इट विल कम एज कि सेव एज पीडीएफ ही आता है, वो डाउनलोड एज पीडीएफ
okay, I'll
आता है.
try it again then, sir.
हाँ हाँ, वो आप प्रिंट के ऊपर आप क्लिक करो तो इट कम्स एज सेव
I
एज पीडीएफ
tried
ही
doing
आता है.
that. I didn't find that. That's why I raised this question.
How do you download the short version?
सेम सर.
Same way.
नवीन, इफ यू कैन जस्ट शो इट देयर.
Just showing.
Because then it is easier to go through it actually, for self-assessment.
Yeah, no problems.
No, that is the case study anyway you're supposed to be doing now, sir. So we'll
आपको
be giving
assignment
you
दिया हुआ
that
है ना,
work.
सर, आपको वही
I've only
करना है.
got the long report.
So
Right,
both the
just a
links are
second.
given there, sir, for a short report as well as a long report. You can
So
click
if you
both.
go to your report, I'll just go to one of your reports. Let's say JP Veteran Mentor. I'll open ये अश्विनी चावला सर का देखता हूँ मैं. So you have this page coming up here. So you have two things out here. One is click to download your short report and click to download your, so shall say short report. So I just click here and print report.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
moment I print report, save as PDF आ जाता है यहाँ.
Okay. Got
Save
it.
as PDF and just save. So it will open up the computer screen out here and you can save it wherever you want to save it.
Okay.
I tried that. I don't know. Maybe I missed it something. I tried doing
Same
that.
thing
normally.
same thing it is there for the long report also.
Oh, got it.
Okay.
it.
So it's a very simple method things we have done. So आप यहाँ पे प्रिंट रिपोर्ट करेंगे, आपको वहाँ पे सेव एज पीडीएफ आ जाएगा. डेस्टिनेशन सेव एज पीडीएफ. इसमें 3 ऑप्शन आते हैं. माइक्रोसॉफ्ट प्रिंट टू पीडीएफ, सेव एज पीडीएफ. So you can save as PDF, save it in your computer.
Yep.
ठीक है सर. So I'll go back to the presentation where we are talking about. So once we have gone into this, the next thing that is that when we are discussing about work, we have to understand that we are talking about their entire occupation, right? So we cannot be telling them something that is going to die down in the next 5 years. So we have to upgrade our knowledge about the future of work. So that's why in the training system itself, in the modules, there is one module of future of work. I have put some videos there, sir. I would request all of you to just go through those videos. छोटे-छोटे videos हैं. आप देख लीजिए उसको because they're very good videos which actually will increase our knowledge about ho kya raha hai duniya mein. A lot of people are doing research. There is a futurist who is actually in America who is doing this research, Jared Leonard. Uske videos hain. So a lot of these videos I've collected and put it there so that when we read it, we get a good understanding about how things are moving around, how AI is going to affect us, what are the positives, negatives, and all that. Some knowledge is there so that when we are doing this research, in back of the mind, we are using it to give them the right kind of suggestions and not telling them to get into some career. For example, chartered accountants may be in very less demand in the future because the way things are happening, everything is getting automated. So very few chartered accountants will be there on top who will manage systems. All systems will look after all the accounting and auditing. Even company audits will be done by systems. You'll require only one signature of one person on top. That's it. Then you will not require so many young chartered accountants at all. So there is going to be a huge, problem if too many people get into chartered accountancy. They will suddenly not find jobs later on tomorrow. So that's a big issue coming up. So like this, there are small issues which we need to understand. And if we understand this, then these are the career paths are no longer going to be linear. So, it's like in the earlier days, you take up a job and you grow up in the corporate ladder and then you retire. Those days are gone now. So now it's no longer about, having a linear ladder in a corporate and making your way up. Still people are joining banks and all that thinking that my life is settled. Life is not settled because 2 years down the line, you'll be out of job. Without realizing, American companies are ruthless. Overnight, they remove positions. Overnight, they close departments. And next day, people are out of jobs. Now, if people are not aware of this and they think that my life is settled, मेरे एक job मिल गया, placement आ गया, college में, especially sir, college में placement हो जाता है, people start celebrating. 2 years down the line, they're without jobs. Now, if they have not thought about what is their future plan, what is their occupation, how they are going to learn, how they are going to reskill themselves, unskill themselves and reskill themselves, because world is changing at a very fast pace. One degree, one college is not going to be enough for your rest of your life. Education cannot be completed so soon. You have to keep re-educating yourself. You have to keep skilling yourself, which is an important part, which we need to understand. And we need to tell this to parents and children also. पुराने जमाने में था आईआईटी में हो गया या कॉलेज में प्लेसमेंट हो गया, वेल्स फार्गो में जॉब मिल गया या गोल्डमैन सैक्स में जॉब मिल गया, लाइफ इज डन. Life is not done. 2 years down the line, Goldman Sachs will go on a dehiring spree. 10,000 people will be removed and put out of jobs, and you'll be one of them. Then where will you go? What's your next plan? What are you going to do in life? You cannot rely on a job security today in the market because there is no job security in the market. This is the reality. And we have to be cognizant of that fact when we are advising parents and children. So we have to have a clear plan for yourself apart from the organization. I want to do this work. This is the kind of work that I want to do. This is my aspiration. This is what I want to reach in the next 20 years. If that vision statement is clear, they'll be safe. But if they're just looking at getting into a bank or getting into a job, it's dangerous in the present world. So that's the whole idea that we need to be understanding about. So this is a Jared Leonard's picture of how the world is changing and what are the things that are driving the world. On the left hand side, if you see the internet, social, these are the main drivers. But on the right hand side, if you see, these are the upcoming future scenarios. All kind of things are happening in the world. I'm not saying it is good or bad, but this is what somebody has done research and said that the world is moving in a very different direction. And we need to be proactive. I'm not talking from the social perspective. I'm talking from a general perspective. But as mentors, we need to be clear where the world is headed in the next 20, 30 years. And are we even cognizant about these kind of changes that are happening? And when we are talking to people or advising them, we should have this in the back of our mind and tell them that please decide what you want to do from a long-term perspective. Don't be happy about just entering into the market. Entering into the market is not a guarantee for you for life. You may get a good salary today, but 5 years down the line, you'll be killed. You'll be out. You'll have hit the ceiling and you'll be out of work. And that is dangerous because at the age of 35, 40, with a family, if you don't have a job tomorrow and you have changed your lifestyle, how are you going to manage? And what is the point is that the world, the way it is changing, 65% of children in the primary school will end up working in jobs that don't exist yet. That's the situation. And it is dangerous because the schools and colleges are not going to gear up so fast to cater for the changes in the world of work. We are seeing that happening. So it has to be much more proactive, when we are talking about future planning and what it can happen. We have also got a report of World Economic Forum. This is there in our portal also. We have uploaded the data. This is a 2000 very latest report, which is giving the report up to 2030. What is the kind of skills that are required? So it says that the 2025 report, which talks about core skills required for 2030. So if you look at it, the core skills that apart from the technology that we are all aware about and cyber security, creative thinking, lifelong learning, empathy, active listening, talent management, these are the skills. More soft skills are required here than the hard skills that we normally used to talk about. So a lot of emphasis is now going on leadership, on empathy, on emotional quotient. These are important factors that are coming up in the world of work, and we have to prepare our youth for that. So that is, and what are the declining skills? Programming is a declining skill. Marketing and media is a declining skill, because now everything is being done by AI, and it's like click of a button, it is available. So it is a declining skill as far as the world of work is concerned. Sensory processing capabilities, reading, writing, mathematics, manual dexterity, precision, endurance, these are all declining because these all things are getting programmed. AI is handling it, machines are handling it. So humans are not required to develop too many skills in that. Whereas the previous one was more important: creative thinking, empathy, talent management, motivation. These are more important skills that are needed in the world as per the World Economic Forum. And then again, when we are dealing with them, we are also looking at the mass, and the mass is not necessarily academically oriented. We all know it. If we look at our own classroom, we look at students today, 5 to 10% of a class are academic children who want to do research, who want to get into scientific roles and academic leadership and all. Maximum people are into non-academic interest areas. But the problem is that the world is pushing them also into academics, and they can't make it there because they will never be happy, because they are not meant for doing those academic roles. Whereas the world is open for opportunities, whether it is the field of sports, it is growing like crazy. Look at events happening around, look at the kind of sports infrastructure that is coming up. Huge amount of growth is happening in the sports arena. Similarly, in the field of media, all these areas are literally exploding. So we need to prepare people for these areas also, which are more unstructured, which are unconventional. Okay, artists, media professionals, people can create their own enterprises. We can create more entrepreneurs in all the areas rather than create job seekers. So that's one of the intentions of giving them unconventional areas where they can work, and they start early. It is better for them. First 5 to 6 years they may struggle, but they will develop their own equity, they will develop their own intellectual property, and they will become great entrepreneurs tomorrow. So that is what it will be a big boon to our country. We'll increase the productivity, we'll increase employment opportunities for people. They are not dependent on some company to give them a job. They are creating jobs for people. And nowadays youngsters are very good at it. A lot of youngsters, young people have started their own entrepreneurships. Right in college, they started off and they're doing well. So everybody, and disorganized industry is also doing well. India has got a lot of disorganized industry and they're doing very well. Small companies working for themselves, social media companies, creative companies, performing arts companies, they're doing very well. They're all earning good money for themselves. So these opportunities are available today. We just need to be open to that idea of not just looking at a job, but also looking at other opportunities apart from seeking jobs. And this is the career exploration that we talked about. So what we say is when we do this work, we actually give a research framework to every student and ask them to do an authentic research about the real world of work. Because otherwise they go on Google and they just do some research and give you some slipshod thing. So we say, let's understand what this work looks like. So you want to be a lawyer, okay, find out what is this work look like? What is the core component of that work? Is it knowledge, skill, personality? What is the actual work being done by the person on a daily basis? They write a paragraph on it. Tick the box. So we have put some 40 checkoff lists there. Communicating with many people, working alone, practical hands-on. You put the tick box there saying that what does, so you have an understanding, okay, when I'm getting into this work, I'm going to be working for next 40 years. I'm going to be working for 12 to 18 hours a day, thinking about that work. I should be very clear that this is the kind of work I'm doing. So you tick box that. And then you say, what is the monetary earning prospect? Am I going to make a lot of money in that or not? You want to make a lot of money, but you're entering into a sector which is, like, I want to be a professor in a college. Obviously, you're not going to make a lot of money. So you have to be very clear. If you're entering into a particular area, what is the monetary earning prospect? Identify famous people in that industry, write about them. What was their education? What did they do? So all this thing, what is the academic rigor and studies needed? Okay, is there an entry barrier or competition to enter into that field? What is the happiness and most important question? How satisfied or happy will I be at work in this area? Give me a rating on 1 to 5. There are 4 options. You're doing it for all the 4. And what is the future of work, chances of extension or dying? Rated on a scale of 1 to 5. So you are very clear that you know whether this area is going to remain or not remain. Okay. What is the impact of technology like AI or ML on this? And last, give bullet points of why do you like this career option. Do it for all the 4 options and do a comparative analysis. And you will be very clear in your mind now that why am I selecting one amongst those 4 and how am I selecting that one amongst that 4. So that is how this research framework has been created, and they submit it to us, and then they make a presentation, and then this whole thing is done like this. So this is how this whole. Yeah.
Naveen, I think you can show the analysis sheet. So then that becomes their homework for the this next.
So what I'll do is I will go to I'll show it on the portal itself. Okay, where the training is being given to them. No? So what you have to do, sir, you have to go to the training. Okay, so if you go to your training, you go here on training and you go to my training. So you must have seen this training portal here, right? Have you gone to the training portal, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. So in this training, so you have done this introduction to mentoring. Last time orientation was done. The orientation and recording of live session has been put here. Now we are here, understanding. So here there is a case studies using the Psycho. So case study is there. So here I've given the links for the short report and the long report of a particular assignment. Okay. And here there's a list of keywords that you can write. So you can actually type the list of keywords here. And if you open the short report, it will open into a separate screen. You will get a short report. This will be of a sample report that has been given to you. So you can use this to actually pick up the keywords. Keywords are also given here. But I would still ask you to go through the short report, long report, and create your own list of keywords. Right? So that is one part of it. Okay. And then the long report is also there. So long report will open in a separate screen like this. So you can go through the long report also. Okay. And then you have this, once you do this, then you go to this building a strength inventory and creating an analytical report. So building the strength inventory, you can write all the keywords here. So you can write the keywords here itself. So you can just type it out here, all the keywords. So this is your first assignment. And then you can analysis report. So analysis template document has been uploaded here. So it will open like this. So this is the pre-session analysis that you have to fill up for this particular case. So say what is the background of the student? Okay, what does the father do, mother do? What is the board, college, stream of education? What are their hobbies, interest? What is their academic interest? What, any sports, any medical issues? What is the primary quadrant? What is the secondary quadrant? What is the profile name? Keywords. Write about the personality of the partner. Use the short and long report. Career sectors of interest. Top abilities, top work values, suitable work categories, and 5 to 10 career options. This is the analysis sheet. You can fill it up and submit it. So that's it. You're done with that assignment. It's all there in the training itself. You don't have to go anywhere. Aapke training mein hi hai wo sab. And you say done, it is done. So it is stored there. And once this is done, then you go to the connecting the dots. So world of work, there are some videos. There is a quiz out here. So you can see these videos. I can give this quiz. Purpose of work, you can see this video. What I've done is I have created some videos based on the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. So it is a very connected kind of piece. Which will say we are not only just aligning, we are also talking about the purpose, where it is about contribution, it's about impacting the world and all that. So we have done some analysis of connecting the Bhagavad Gita to the work that we are doing. So I'd request if you can just go through it and, it will help. And then last is the future of work. These are the future of work videos that I put here. And there's a small quiz out there. It will not take much time. You just have to run through it, and quiz is very small quiz. And that's it. So this is the completion. So when you do this connecting the dots, you're done with this. Next session, we'll be talking about conducting a session, and also we'll be talking about the social aspect of it, which Ninad will be talking about. So that will be done in the next session on 13th. But right now, I think you just have to finish this understanding psychometric report and connecting the dots. These 2 things, if you can complete, then we'll be ready in the next 2 to 3.
And let them go through their own report also, Naveen.
Yeah.
So that analysis also
report,
they
go
have.
through it. And you can fill up an analysis sheet for yourself also. So that becomes a practice for you. So I think this much, if you can complete, then we are done with the thing for the next session. So I think I'll stop sharing here and I'll pause here and we can open the house for question and answers, any queries, doubts, and then we can move ahead.
This analysis sheet for our own report is linked. How do you get it?
No, sir, for your own report, you'll have to download it, right? Open your this dashboard and download your report. Okay, so that is there. Then go on to the training part of it where you have said now the veteran training you have got into it. Over there, you just have that analysis sheet, use your report, and from there you start adding things in that.
Okay.
You can do that, or you can do, see, it's a practice for you. You can do it, both of them also, you can fill it up. You can fill for this child also and for yourself also. दोनों आप उसी में भर दो आप. It's just a practice for you. That's it.
Okay.
The idea is that when you go for a session, if you have understood everything about the person, about the family background, why we take what the father and parents are doing is basically to understand their financial this, and accordingly what kind of hobbies, where do they come from, so you get to understand the location also. It is a big city, small city, and the other part of it. So when you have all this information, it becomes easier for you to go and do the session. You already have the thing. So see, the idea about when Naveen was showing Shah Rukh Khan or this particular thing, quadrant, the idea is that even before, so what happens is first you will do a orientation session, because whomever you are working with, okay, whomever you are trying to guide, they buying in should be there from them. Okay. Otherwise, they will take it just as a sort of any other test or assessment or that particular kind of thing. So that orientation, we will be sharing that presentation with you, how you can do the orientation, where we are generally doing that lifeline orientation, etc. So they get to understand ki, okay, this is why I require to plan my career. Otherwise, I will end up having a mediocre life. So I want to have a good life. I want to have a prosperous and enjoyable life. I require to plan my career. That is one part of it. And over there, we also tell them ki how to take the psychometric assessment. The orientation gets done. Then the psychometric assessment the child will take. Now you have to do the analysis. So you have this analysis sheet in front of you. The idea is first, now you just spoken and you have got some idea about the child. And with all these things, you should be able to create a sort of map in your mind. Ki what is that child all about? Which kind of thing? So is it a easy, energetic, active, very go-getter kind of person, or a restless, or a very knowledge seeker kind of this, who is going to be more studious kind of person, and all those. Once you have that kind of thought process in your mind, if you've created that image of his in your mind, then when you go and do the session, it becomes much easier. Because first thing what happens is, first is you have to do the validation with the child and the parent. So all our sessions take place with the parent, generally till 19 years of age. After that, if the child is elder, then we do it alone. But till 18, 19, it is with the parent. So the orientation, parents also should understand what is being done and why it is being done. Then the assessment takes place. Then the main session where the validation gets done with the parents and the child, where they say, yes, like now Naveen was talking to you and you say, yes, I am like that. Then we make them write down. So whatever that 40 keywords which are there, we tell them to write down those keywords. The idea is that they should be able to understand that the thing, when they write it down, that thing goes into them. Okay, I am this, I am this. Otherwise, there are many times they may be taking it as a negative point, but we have to tell them, no, this is positive. These are your strengths. So they write down the strengths, and then we work with them. Okay, what do you like to do? How would you like to go ahead about this? And then that 10 to 15, whatever the careers which you have shortlisted, you discuss it with them. And the idea is that they had to choose, finally, they had to get into one direction only. You cannot become an engineer or a doctor and try to do both, because the competition is so much that you cannot think of, I will try to this also and I will try to do that. You have to start preparing, you have to start working in that direction properly. So that is why the idea is that the whole world is open to you. Now you have got it down to that 10 to 15 this options which you have chosen. From there, you are working with the child and you shortlist it to 3 to 4, maximum 5, in which the child then does the exploration where he takes around 10 to 15 days. And then the child presents it to you, where you say, the child says that this is the career which I would like to get into. This direction I would like to get into because this is something which is exciting me, which is giving me purpose, and I have made an informed choice, which is again the child is giving it to the mentor and the parents. So over there, what happens is ki now we know ki yes, whatever he is getting into, one is he's suitable as per his personality, as per his interest and abilities, and the child is actually interested in doing that, and he has understood that career and then getting into that. So that is the whole concept with which we are going. So that is why we are coming from big to small and finally coming down to the one career option which we are talking about. And this goes across, whether we are doing, the concept remains same, whether we are doing it for the urban and the privileged youth or the underprivileged youth. Next session we will talk a little bit more about, when we are doing it with the underprivileged youth, what all things we have to keep in mind and how do we go ahead about it. That we will do it next session. But this is prima facie the thing which we are the idea is that the whole family should be on the same page and the child should be making a informed choice. That's all. Okay. So any questions from anybody? Anything you want to know?
Good.
Yes, sir.
थोड़ा सा heavy है, but I'm sure once you start going through it and once you start doing it, slowly you get used to it, and then it becomes it's quite interesting actually.
Yeah, so
अब करना शुरू करो तो मजा आता है.
Yeah.
You
No, I can relate
you
well to it na, because of my SSB background. Na, we spend around 45 minutes with a candidate, and after
yes,
45 minutes, I know that chap inside out.
Correct.
inside out,
So
exactly.
probably na, that is what will happen here also.
Absolutely.
Correct. But now over here, you are able to connect it to the world of work. That is the
Yeah.
only thing which is happening.
Mm.
Any other this Sangeeta ma'am, Sarita
Anybody would
ma'am,
like to
Nilu
share
ma'am,
anything? We
anything?
can do that for next 10 minutes and then we can close.
Anything? John, क्या बोलता है?
No, sir, I'm learning and it's great. I was very happy to participate in that assessment. It's very well designed. And only thing, there was a bit of a contradiction I'm still trying to understand because I'm very much interested in digital marketing and all these things. It was showing me as a totally not not recommended. So I was wondering what happened. So maybe one or two things in my questionnaire they did not match with that.
See, no, it's not only that. See, what happens is interest is one part of it, and your personality is this. So that's why we have taken an algorithm caters for the personality, for the digital, for the interest part and the abilities, right? So what happens is you may be interested in something, but are you, and interest comes from different, whether you likes, dislikes, etc. But personality wise, is it suitable? The kind
Yeah,
of thing which you
career
are
whether
required
it
to do.
is.
So that is what is there. And again, as I said, Kina, you guys, like, this is for actually for kids from 30 to 25 years of age. For the mid-career, early and mid-career, though the personality, this is separate, but the connectivity is different. Okay, so that is what we have to keep in mind. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sangeeta ma'am, anything?
This is really getting interesting. So the
Sure,
more
Ashwini
we
sir. Get to see. Yeah.
more we come to know about the aspects of it, the more interesting it becomes. I am really hoping that once we start, it will be really interesting.
Great. Sarita ma'am, Pratibha ma'am, anything from your side?
Hi, I have been working with the children since 3, 4 years, but the sector was more towards the soft skill and emotional intelligence. And but yes, this is giving a wider horizon, and I was always interested, but then you need to have the kind of time you people have invested in building up a tool like this. So I could never deviate or get something of that sort, so I never deviated in the sector, specifically when we are dealing with government schools. Those children are clueless.
Correct.
Unfortunately, teachers as well. I mean, since it's been 4 years, I've been regularly going to them. एंड जितनी चीजें मुझे पता है मैं उस तरह से उन्हें गाइड करने की कोशिश करती हूँ, लेकिन द टीचर्स आर क्लूलेस, not interested, unfortunately. I mean, with due respect to the profession, but and specifically the children who are coming to those schools, they are coming from a background where parents, it's a whole different world. So I sincerely hope that I mean, I could actually help those children in some.
Ma'am, so our whole system, actually speaking, has been created with them in mind. Okay, so tomorrow we will be discussing more about it. That is why if you see the whole system is multilingual. Okay, we have added the NSDC job roles over there, which are basically for the underprivileged and low income group, so they can get into it. And because over there, it's the question of sustainability also, is the question of lack of resources and lots of other things. So we will discuss that tomorrow when we are,
13th.
or on the next, on 13th when we are doing this. So we will discuss it in details over there. Yeah. Anything else? Anybody? I request you to all go through the whole this particular portal, and then next time we will be giving you your dashboard also, the admin dashboard for your this, where you can get to see the other children whom you will be guiding. So their information, everything will be available in that. As of now, why we are trying to get you only into the student dashboard, because your students, whoever you are guiding, they will be seeing all these things. So you should be aware ki what are they seeing, whatever issues if they have, you should be able to sort it out for them. That's all. Right? So,
Shall
I
we
think if, yeah,
call it a day?
yeah, I think.
So thank you so much for giving us a patient hearing, and I know it has been a little bit longish. We tried to make it simple. We are always open. I think it will take some time for assimilation. If there's any questions, you can please connect with us and we'll be happy to help. And please try and complete it, the entire training before this, and then we'll meet on 13th. So looking forward to meeting you all on 13th. Thank you so much for attending the session, and good night.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm ending the meeting.